YouTube's
following
darkest
video
secrets.
is sponsored by Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Simply Safe. I look, he might have to turn it down just a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now arriving at our Wasco station stop.
On the morning of March 22nd, 2024, the Kern
Let me
County
know if y'all
Sheriff's
got anything
Office was
from
flooded
React
with
too.
calls about an incident that had taken place near the Wasco Amtrak station in Wasco, California. The incident involved a pedestrian who was reportedly walking dangerously close to an active train track before being struck by an oncoming locomotive, a situation that authorities knew was likely unsurvivable. Police arrived at the scene shortly after 8 a.m. and were met with the bloody aftermath of the accident, as they found 48-year-old Horacio Ayala Penoza deceased on the tracks, with the
Damn,
force
they
of
got
the
hit by a
impact being so
train?
strong that his body was torn apart and scattered all throughout the area.
Wait, what?
At first, it was believed to have been a clear-cut suicide, but after interviewing some of the witnesses, police learned that the man had never stepped in front of the train, and rather, he had actually been sucked underneath as a result of walking too closely, painting a clearer picture that this was all a tragic accident.
He was sucked
But as police were
underneath?
conducting these interviews, one strange detail kept coming up, as apparently, Horatio wasn't the only one on the tracks around the time of the incident, with there allegedly having been one other man standing nearby, a man who took off shortly after Horatio had been killed. And strangely, witnesses believe they saw the man reach down and pick something up before leaving. For the officers on the scene, finding this man became the next obvious order of business. But by this point, he had already found himself a few blocks away, where he was spotted by a group of construction workers. The group watched as the man walked towards them, appearing to hold some sort of large item in one of his hands, the same item that had been taken from the train tracks. And the closer he got, the clearer it became what exactly this thing was. It was a human leg.
I can't find it. I need to turn on the TV. Gotta be on my leg. I don't know.
For some inexplicable reason, when the train had dismembered Horatio, this man had run over and picked up his leg, and he was now waving that leg on the sidewalk of a nearby road, with the construction crew claiming that he had been banging it against the fence as he walked towards them. And
Wait,
at one point,
what?
had even
Bro,
struck
did I
the
just
leg
miss
against one of
something?
the
Like,
machines.
what's going on here? He was doing what?
The train had dismembered Horatio. This man had run over and picked up his leg, and he was now waving that leg on the sidewalk of a nearby road, with the construction crew claiming that he had been banging it against the fence as he walked towards them, and at one point had even struck the leg against one of their machines. Upon the realization, a wave of fear washed over the group, as they were unsure what this man had done to get this leg, or what he would do next, though that was something that even the wildest of imaginations could have never predicted.
He's eating it. Hey,
He's eating it? Yo!
As the man looked down at the leg and began eating it, as the workers watched on in horror. Officers arrived on the scene immediately after this, and when they asked the man what he was doing with the leg, he explained that it belonged to him, and that he was taking it to a nearby hospital to have it reattached. But it was obvious to everyone there that this man wasn't missing any of his legs, with the officers having to go as far as to prove it to him by making him roll up the sleeves of his pants and touch both of his legs. His explanation was completely nonsensical, and obviously didn't account for the fact that he was literally eating the leg just minutes before, leading to officers immediately placing him under arrest. His name was Rosendo Tejas, a 27-year-old man who had been experiencing homelessness and had been living on a street near the train tracks, with police determining that he did in fact have nothing to do with the actual death of Horatio. He just so happened to be near the tracks at the time.
So this nigga just finds it and picks it up. Yo, what are we doing?
Take Horatio's leg and start eating it. It appears as though this was the result of a combination of both drugs and alcohol, as he was found carrying narcotics when he was taken into custody, and he had just been captured by security cameras purchasing alcohol at a nearby liquor store just hours before the incident. But what's so interesting about this footage is just how normal Rosendo seems. In fact, the people working there knew him quite well, as he stopped in almost daily, where he was described as being polite and ordinary, including on the day of that incident. In fact, it's said that at first the shop owners didn't believe that Rosendo could have possibly done this, but it seems that whatever substances he had taken that day had changed him. Rosendo Tejas was charged with 2 counts of removal of human remains and 1 count of destroying or concealing evidence, as well as resisting a police officer, and was sentenced to 1 year in prison after pleading no contest, bringing this absurd case to an end. However, his unsettling behavior will forever live on.
Something that never makes me understand it is sending homeless niggas to jail. Ain't the streets more dangerous than the jail? Or am I tripping? I don't know. That may just be me, bro. I feel like they should just seek it. Give these niggas actual help, if anything. What the fuck is this? Chapter 2 watched. What is this? Oh, it's different
It was
parts
just
of
past
it.
10 p.m. Safely
Okay,
tucked
we're
away
doing
in her
the weirdest
second-story
ones, I'm guessing,
apartment,
right?
20-year-old Hannah Vivaretti set up her
Okay, it's
phone
video,
to
so
record
it's
a
like
video of
different
herself
categories, I'm
dancing. For her, this was a meditative practice, a way of unwinding after a long, stressful day, and to truly feel at peace. But that day, fate had other plans.
They breaking in her house?
As Hannah was dancing, something off camera caused her to stop dead in her tracks and yell, "Who are you?" It was a man whom Hannah had never seen before, standing in the doorway of her balcony, which again was on the second floor, meaning that man had climbed up, cracked open the door, and was now standing in her home staring at her, quietly muttering nonsensically with a big grin on his face.
Bro, if there's somebody on my second floor balcony, I'm shooting you.
Hannah stopped the
If
music.
you're on my bro, listen. If I open up my door, right? Boom. I'm dancing in my living room. Second floor. I live on the second floor. I open. Matter of fact, I could see through, and I look at my balcony. There's a nigga on my balcony. I'm not waiting. I'm not tearing you out. I'm not calling I'm shooting you through the door. Why are you on my floor? I'm sorry. You're getting blasted, gang. I'm clutching on you. You're getting boomed off the balcony. The way you came up is the way you're going back down, gang. I'm sorry. If you ever see a nigga on your second floor balcony and you have a convo with him, your ass gonna die.
And again asked, "Who are you?" To which the man responded by saying,
"Please get out. No, please get out. Yes."
But her
Bro,
demeanor
probably
and
a
panic in her
pervert.
voice made it all too clear that this was far from the case.
"Who are you? Please get out of my apartment right now."
She started to make her way over to her phone and then towards the front door. All the while, the man kept calmly insisting that they be friends, but Hannah was having none of it.
"Please get out of my apartment right now."
Opening her front door and
Call the cops.
Get out.
And this right here is what makes me think these videos are staged. He's in your house and you're recording him. If he goes to kill you, what is the video gonna do besides show evidence? You're dead. Call the cops and run. Get a weapon. Do something.
pointing the camera directly at the intruder, giving us our first and
I need to
only
see a
glimpse of
mugshot.
the
I
man
don't believe
as
it.
he's standing still. in
I'm
the
sorry,
balcony
I dead
doorway. And with her front door now open, she yelled at him to get out, loud enough for the neighbors to hear.
"Get out."
Which finally caused the man to retreat. As it
Like,
turns out,
what?
Hannah
Am
did
I missing
actually know
something?
who this man was, at least vaguely, as he lived in the same apartment complex, but he never actually spoke to her. He would always just stare and smile, making it apparent that he had some sort of sick interest in her.
Yeah, buddy's a creep.
As
I
for
ain't
why
gonna
he
lie.
entered her home that night, it's fairly obvious that his intentions were incredibly sinister, with Hannah recalling that during the entire experience, his hands never left his hoodie pocket, making her wonder if he was holding onto some sort of weapon that he may have been planning to use on her. But thankfully, because of her swift reaction, we'll
it's
never
probably
truly know what
touching
he had
himself or
planned that
something.
night. Days after the incident, police would arrest 36-year-old Angel Moses
Yo, but ain't
Rodriguez
staged. Now
Gomez
that's a
and
fact.
charge him with stalking, second-degree assault, third and fourth-degree burglary, and malicious destruction of property. But surprisingly, shortly after his arrest, they allowed him to walk free on bail. And given that he lived in the same
The court system suck. I'm sorry. It's just facts. Niggas could jump. Bro, the court system sucks. This nigga just jumped on her balcony, stalked her for days, creeped her out. You would think, damn, maybe they could lock him up for a week or something, put him in some, get the nigga some help. Nah, let's release this nigga. Yo, this shit's a joke. There's no way.
apartment complex as Hannah, and clearly knew where she lived. This decision was incredibly controversial, with Hannah herself stating in an interview that
There's no way, I promise you.
he's walking freely right now, and I have to watch my back at every angle.
Literally.
Thankfully, the court's decision would not lead to any further escalations in the case, and today Angel no longer lives in the country, but the footage is incredibly chilling nonetheless, and it sent me down a rabbit hole of home invasion videos late the other night. And here on YouTube, I came across countless unsettling examples. One such example comes from Saratov, Russia, and shows a woman moments after being awoken by the sound of knocking as she lay in bed in her apartment.
I need to turn down
It
the
was around
TV, bro. I
4:30
can't hear.
a.m., which was already unusual enough, but things became downright horrifying for her when she realized that the knocking wasn't coming from the door.
Yo, I don't look
It was
for
coming
anything,
from
bro. This
the
remote
window.
right here. I like to rewatch Hunter x Hunter for some reason too. Oh yeah, he's
Outside of her window was a
GG's.
man banging his head against the glass over and over
GG's.
again. And equally as disturbing, this woman's unit wasn't on the first floor. She was 2 stories up, and she didn't have a balcony.
It's GG's.
Across the
He's
street,
not-
a neighbor
yeah.
filmed the incident as it happened, showing us that the man was standing on one of the building's gas pipes.
So boom, I'm gonna break this down real simple. I'm sleep. I live once again 2nd floor. A nigga is doing this on my bro. I'm gonna open up the window like these. I'm sticking my foot through. I'm kicking you off. Yo, it's GG's, bro. Please, what are we
While he
doing?
continued to strike the window. Eventually, these hits grew so
I would've
forceful
John
that the glass
Jones
started
kicked
to
that
break,
nigga down
and his
the-
head began bleeding profusely, finally leading to the man stopping,
Like what
but
the
not in the
fuck?
pursuit of entering the home.
Yo, he would've got booted. To be that's fair. If you ask me, that's fair, bro.
Слушай, этого дурачка пена изо рта, мне бешенство или чё? Ну, бля, попей мочи, иди отсюда уже.
As he instead climbed to a different window where he attempted to peel it open with his fingers. But by this point, police
I
had
would've
already
opened it up
arrived on
for him.
scene,
You'd have got
and
kicked out
eventually
once
the man
again.
would be forced down and placed under arrest. When looking for an explanation as to why this man was doing this, it appears that
We
he was
don't
under the
know.
influence of bath salts during the ordeal. But aside from this, I couldn't find any other information about the man's identity or whatever became of him. But I was able to find that this clip doesn't tell the entire story, as the woman behind the camera actually spoke to a local reporter and provided additional context to the ordeal, which only made the story more terrifying. At first, he knocked with his hands. Then he began to peck at me at the window with his head for an hour and a half without stopping. After that, he started shouting my name to the whole yard. He was foaming at the mouth. His whole face was covered in blood, and he shouted that he wanted to talk to me, and he needed me. With the most terrifying part of the statement being that she had no idea who this man was.
Yo,
or
I
how
ain't
he
gonna lie,
could have
that's
even known her
fucking
name.
terrifying.
The idea of both of these intruder videos featuring people whom the victims had never even spoken to makes them especially unsettling, as it shows that you really never know who's watching and who might be obsessing over you. But incidents like this can be equally as chilling when the intruder is someone that you do know. Mohammed Amana was a 26-year-old man living in Orafur, Sweden, and had been dating
I
a
need to
woman
get a
named
haircut.
Maria. But after several
I'm
run-ins
looking
with
at
the
him.
law, Mohammed's
That's a
lifestyle
good-
just
that's a
became
good
too much
bag,
for
though.
her,
I don't know how to put
and she
it.
eventually decided to end the relationship.
Like what, 3 weeks?
This
or
caused
something?
Mohammed to become enraged, an emotion that was only further heightened when he discovered that she was staying with a male friend of theirs. And on the 25th of May, he would show up at his doorstep and ask to speak to Maria. Inside, the male friend and Maria both refused to let him in and told him to leave, and for a moment he did, though only temporarily, as he would return minutes later, this time armed with a ladder. And noticing what he was trying to do, the homeowner began recording on his cell phone.
En stege. En stege. Okej.
Vad gör du, Mohammed?
Kan man gå in?
Vad gör du?
The man behind the camera asks, "What are you doing? Are you going to fight me?" To which Mohammed said no, he just wanted to speak to Maria.
Tror du kommer upp här? Tror du kommer upp här?
Varför så med mig?
As he said this, his demeanor was unsettlingly calm as he continues making his way up the ladder.
Y'all just gonna let him get
Du
up
kommer
there.
inte upp här. Du kommer inte in
Y'all
i
just
mitt
push
hem.
that nigga down.
In i mitt
Thank
hem,
you.
Mohammed.
With his demeanor being so calm that the cameraman couldn't tell if Mohammed was a threat or not, though it wouldn't take long for him to get his answer.
Du kommer inte in i mitt hem. Därför han högg mig med en kniv, man. Han högg mig med en kniv.
In an instant, Mohammed struck the cameraman, causing him to retreat into his room,
The cameraman
closing
was
the sliding
injured.
glass door just in time for Mohammed to step on the balcony and brandish a large kitchen knife.
Oh,
Stor köttkniv. Såg ni det? Du, han krossar glaset med en sten.
oh, run! It's over.
Still dazed by the attack, the man holding the camera retreated even further into the house, while Maria had already run into the bathroom and locked the door behind her, a door that Mohammed would quickly rush over to.
Why are y'all still in the house? go.
Släpp in mig på dörren så han kommer in. Han kommer in, Maria. Mohammed, hugg du. Mohammed, du högg mig redan.
And desperately tried to open, even trying to use his knife to turn the lock, as that lock was the
Oh, is
only
he trying to
thing
get
standing in
her
the
or
way
him?
of
I'm
what he was
confused.
there to
He
do.
jams him,
What
and now he
exactly
got a
that
knife, and
was
he's
is
recording him.
unknown,
Like,
as
what's
police would
going
manage
on
to
here?
arrive on the scene within minutes of this footage being taken, where they would arrest Mohammed before he was able to get to Maria. But it's clear based on the fact that he had a weapon on him and his desperate attempt to breach the house that he didn't just want to have a conversation.
I don't think
In
he
the
did
end,
either.
the man filming was left with only minor cuts. Mohammed was sentenced to 2 years in prison, as well as a 10-year ban from the country of Sweden.
Okay,
leaving
I
us
was
with
gonna
3
say.
haunting videos. Of
Damn,
3
they banned that nigga from the
disturbing
country.
whose true
Yeah, they
intentions
banished
will
him.
thankfully never be known. It's the spookiest time of the year, a time when the consumption of horror movies and dark YouTube videos reaches its peak. But while
Nah,
fun in
I
the
love this
moment,
guy's
the true
channel, bro.
terror
He
of
be making
consuming
some
this
fire
often
content.
occurs long after the credits roll, when you close your eyes to go to sleep, only to feel the sickening feeling of paranoia. Every creak in your home sending
Halloween
a
is
jolt of
also
panic throughout your body,
the best
making
horror
you wonder
franchise.
if someone
Argue with a
or
brick wall. I'm
something
just throwing
is
it out
inside
there.
your house. I was just like you once. Consuming creepy content is my livelihood, and as a result, I've spent countless sleepless nights feeling uneasy within my own home, never quite feeling safe and secure, always wondering if something was lurking around me, until I realized that the reason I didn't feel secure was because I
You
wasn't.
didn't have a gun.
The only thing standing between me and the outside world was a simple lock, and I knew it was time for a change, with that change finally coming when I partnered with this video sponsor, SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is a home security system that you can control right from your phone.
That nigga got
The SimpliSafe
UAV
app
outside
allows
his
you to
crib. I
arm and
love
disarm
it.
the system, as well as view your live camera feeds anytime in any place. When I'm panicking in bed, I can just check the footage and be reassured that no one else is around. And when I'm away, I can check to make sure my belongings and, way more importantly, my dog are safe. But SimpliSafe isn't just your run-of-the-mill security system. They utilize something called Active Guard Outdoor Protection, which uses AI technology to identify threats outside of your home. So if someone is in the area acting
when I'm in my own
suspiciously,
crib, I'm
it will send an
literally
alert
gonna
to a
put-
monitoring agent, who can then trigger the alarm.
I'm gonna put like 20 of them bitches in my house. You come in here, I'm UAVing like these, gun in one hand. I'm tracking you down.
Whereas with old school systems,
You don't know my
by
house
the time
better
the
than I
alarm
would.
goes
That
off,
would just- you
your
feel me?
home has already been breached. It's peace of mind in the place where we should all feel most at peace, which means the terror can end when the credits roll. And if you want to feel that same peace of mind, you can save 50% off your very own SimpliSafe security system by signing up for their professional monitoring plan. Visit simplisafe.com/Nick Crowley to customize yours. And there's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Chapter 3, video blog number 1, the story of. I don't want to butcher that name, so.
All right, hey
Noah
folks,
though.
this is
It's
Noah,
first name.
getting my blog live. Trucks and trucks and lots of trucks.
This is the very first footage that Noah Harpum would post to YouTube. After years of having a channel, Noah finally decided to give uploading a try, posting this inaugural video to a self-titled channel on October 29th, 2015.
Damn,
titling it
70
1029
77K views,
video blog number
75
1,
likes.
and introducing
Yo, like
himself to
up.
the platform with a simple
To me.
"Hello world" in the
Sub
description.
up to
No, but
me.
I did want to dissect
For you too, of course.
just the beginning of a sermon given by a Pastor Bill, a guy that my dad has been following, taking ideas from for 10 years at least. He and his family, 2 kids.
In the video, Harpum paces throughout his home and discusses a priest named Pastor Bill, whom he believed was influencing his father and his family, and clearly not in a good way.
I've been ignorant of it for a long time, so I wanted to look at it, and I challenged him just to
Damn,
look
when
at
they put
15
the-
minutes of this sermon.
Though he gives no context as to who this pastor is, only mentioning that he had been ignorant of the situation for a while, and that this video was his response after trying to expose the truth to his father.
Been waiting, and I haven't heard anything. So I was going to just post my reply, and I guess that's how I'll start my blog.
Again, what this truth is unclear, as the lack of information makes this video a confusing watch, and ultimately it tells us very little about who Noah was, let alone the other people he was discussing. But he did end the clip by making it clear that this was only the beginning of what would be a reoccurring blog series that would showcase just him, his thoughts, and his camera.
The blog is just going to be me with a video camera, and that'll be it. We'll see what happens.
But before those uploads would come, Noah had pinned a website in his description that directed users to a blog post written by him that same day, titled, "Is My Dad in a Cult? Even worse, is it satanic?" Throughout the writing, Harpham loosely provides additional context for his video, as he breaks down a sermon given by Pastor Bill, who is shown to be Bill Johnson, a well-known preacher from the Bethel Church in Redding, California, who had garnered a large following online. And despite the sermon being over an hour long, Harpham goes through it point by point, critiquing everything that he said. And the more he typed, the more angry he got.
A
And the more
wolf
angry
in
he
sheep's
got,
clothing,
the more nonsensical
literally.
his words became. I'm attempting to present a case that shows the leader of this prestigious institution, along with a select group of rulers, are using mind control techniques to poison and confuse legions of useful idiots that slave away to keep the institution humming along, and that this man, Pastor Bill Johnson, and his ruling caste are using mind control to keep people imbalanced and ignorant, in a state of perpetual waiting for the material world to be defied, while they themselves are profiting immensely in this material world. The blog gives us a peek behind the curtain of the man shown in this video, a man who seems to be clearly mentally unwell, paranoid, and very angry, with the post making it clear that the purpose of Noah's content was to bring this pastor down, and video blog number 1 was supposed to be just the start. However, there would never be a video blog number 2, as just 2 days after posting this video, Noah's life would take a drastic turn.
Colorado Springs 911, what's the exact location of your emergency?
It's at,
Can you repeat that one more time for me and make sure I had it correct?
well, it's across the street from me. I'm calling from my address.
Tell me exactly what happened.
Well, there was a guy walking around with like 2 cans of gasoline or something, 2 small cans, and a big, like a rifle. It was black, and it had a strap around it.
Wait, there's no way.
He's
Let
walking
me
up
just hear.
doors
Let me just
and
hear it
stuff.
up.
At 8:35 a.m. on Halloween morning, a woman named Naomi Bettis called 911 after witnessing a suspicious man walking around her neighborhood in Colorado Springs, as she watched him carrying several cans of gas, as well as an AR-15 that was hung over his shoulder. She didn't know it at the time, but this man was her neighbor, Noah Harpham.
And then I seen that he walked into the building, and the glass window at that business is broke.
And that's a business? What's the name of the business?
I have no idea, but I just know it's, I don't know if it's a fake gun, BB gun, but it looks pretty scary.
As the call progresses, Naomi explains that she had watched him enter a nearby business.
Yo, matter of fact, I like that. I like how she didn't just, she gave it a benefit of the doubt, you know, because some people just, they see BB gun, they see a Nerf gun and be like, yo, this nigga got a gun, and yeah, people just get boomed and
windows
shit.
appear to have been broken.
I love that.
She wasn't sure if anything illegal had happened at this point, but
Quite
she was
thoughtful,
convinced
if you
that
ask
Noah
me.
was up to something sinister, which based on what he had in his possession seemed to be the only logical conclusion. However, this concern wasn't felt by everyone.
Okay. And you said it looked like a long gun, correct? Like a rifle?
Yes, uh-huh.
Well, it is an open carry state, so he can have a weapon with him or walking around with it.
With
but of
2
course,
cans
having
of
those
gas-
cans, it does seem pretty
Okay.
suspicious, so we're going to keep the call going for that.
Okay, and the window's broken to that business downstairs, so.
Right. And you said he's now upstairs, correct?
Yes, mm-hmm.
And are you or anyone else in immediate danger?
No.
Okay.
As the operator seemingly brushed aside the incident, stating that she was only keeping the call going because the gas cans could be suspicious. However, even with that, the report still wasn't taken seriously, as the dispatcher hung up on her shortly after, before dispatching one single officer to the scene, an officer that never even made it there, as just moments later he was called off and sent to what was deemed to be a more pressing scene at the local senior center. Naomi's concerns were completely ignored, but despite this, she continued to watch out her window, waiting to see what Noah would do next. 4 minutes after her call with police ended, and 10 minutes after first reporting Noah's behavior, Naomi would dial 911 once again, only this time, her demeanor was far different.
I just called a few minutes ago, and the guy came back out, and he fired a gun at somebody, and he's laying on the street dead.
Dumbasses, bro. Like, you niggas got the call and didn't. Bro, I'm telling y'all, bro.
God.
It's shit
He's
like
got an
this.
ambulance too.
Like, you'll be like, only in a movie. And then in this shit,
she
like,
frantically
bro.
told dispatch that the man carrying the gun had just
I just
shot
told you
and
this nigga got a
killed
gun.
someone outside of her home.
Oh my God.
Open carry. He has 2 gas tanks. And the window's broken.
Is anyone in immediate danger?
No, that I can see or no.
In response, the operator bizarrely asks if anyone else is in danger, but Naomi, likely in a state of shock, answers no, before immediately realizing that Noah was heading in the direction of Platt Avenue, which was known to be a busier neighborhood.
Maybe on Platt Avenue there might be people in danger.
Naomi, I need the suspect's description. Do you know his name?
No, I don't.
Okay, is he white, black, Hispanic,
He's
Asian?
white, and he's got long curly hair coming out of his cap.
She desperately tried to relay that more people were likely in harm's way, only to be immediately proven right just seconds later.
No.
Yeah, there's people outside that might be in danger up on flat. Oh, I just heard another fire. Oh my God.
When she hears more gunshots, prompting the operator to once again ask,
Yeah, they need to call an ambulance or something right away.
Is anyone
This
in
lady,
danger?
bro, this lady literally
Only people
called you
up on
niggas
flat,
and you
baby.
didn't, yo.
Alright, I am sending the paramedics.
This
to
shit
help
is
you now. Stay on the
frustrating,
line
bro.
and I'll tell you exactly what to do next.
If I'm dispatched,
okay?
yo, give me the SWAT team
it
over
was
there.
only
This
then that
don't
the
sound
operator
right.
would
This nigga
tell
about to
Naomi
blow
that
up the
police and
neighborhood.
medical personnel were finally being dispatched to the scene, but by this point, it was far too late. In the moments after Naomi had made her first 911 call, Noah Harpham would first attempt to light his house on fire using the 2 cans of gasoline, though this, however, failed and caused him to quickly shift his focus. Noah instead stepped outside and brandished his rifle, immediately pointing it directly at Andrew Mayers, who had been riding his bike in the neighborhood, and after seeing the gun, the man stopped and begged him not to shoot, to which Noah responded by pulling the trigger multiple times, killing him instantly.
Yo, they got
with
somebody
Andrew
killed,
Myers
bro.
being the man that Naomi had seen laying dead on the street. From there, Noah began walking up the street where he would eventually see 2 women sitting on the porch of a sobriety center, where local women went to get help with their drug and alcohol addictions. And upon noticing them, he immediately started shooting, striking and killing both Christina Galella and Jennifer Vasquez.
The
Noah walked
dispatch
for over a
literally got
mile after
multiple
this
people
before
killed.
the police finally caught up with him, and when they called out for him to stop walking, Noah turned and immediately opened fire, leading to a massive shootout. When the smoke cleared, the only one struck had been Noah, who was lying dead on the pavement, marking the end of his killing spree.
Yo.
The investigation that followed revealed that Noah had never even met any of the 3 people he killed that day. They were
They
all
should
total
have
strangers.
investigated the dispatch
Leaving the
officer.
question, why had he done it? Well, even today, there's still no clear motive, with this appearing to be a completely random and senseless act. But looking at his final and only posts online, Noah was clearly very angry and seemed to be mentally unwell, which was corroborated by testimony from his parents, as they later claimed that he had anger issues and suffered from drug addiction and bipolar disorder. But what's so unusual about this to me was that this video was published just 2 days before the killing.
So he tried to blame it on the
Not meant
pastor?
to be a one-off post. It was something that he seemed genuinely excited to continue. Yet not even 48 hours later, he resorted to this. What happened in that time frame may never be known, but the effects of it will last forever. And I can't help but wonder how differently this all could have gone if that initial 911 operator had just taken Naomi's report seriously. Noah's spree didn't start for a full 10 minutes after she started that call, which would have been more than enough time for police to intervene. But instead, Noah was given all the time he needed to end 3 innocent lives.
Damn. Chapter 4. The ropeway? The yard? I don't know how to say
It wasn't an
that.
attraction for the faint of heart. Standing over 1,300 feet
Yeah, I'm
above
not
the
liking
ground,
this already,
the
bro.
Deogar ropeway was built to take tourists up and down the Trikut Mountain in Jharkhand, India. It was the tallest cableway in the entire country, offering an unparalleled view of Deogar and the picturesque landscape around it. Because of this, videos have long since been posted on
Let me
YouTube
guess, the
showing
shit
just how
fell down.
dramatic of a ride this truly is, with one such video being recorded on April 10th, 2022. That day, a woman and her family had been filming their adventure to the Trikut Mountain, and were now filming a first-person view of the descent back down. It wasn't the kind of place for anyone with a fear of heights, and the loud sounds of the car passing the support towers only added to the anxiety of the trip. But the group filming this all remained relatively calm, quietly conversing to themselves, seemingly unfazed by the spectacular height. Even enjoying it.
At that point, once you're on, it's
A
like if you
feeling
fall,
that
you
wouldn't
fall. Like,
last.
fuck it, bro. Just why not? Cause what can you do, nigga? Fly out? And screaming ain't gonna save your ass.
Without any warning, the car was met with a massive force, sending the occupants
Damn.
and the camera to the floor, causing the footage to go dark. In that moment, one of the ropeway's axles had dislodged, causing a failure on the pulley system, which resulted in 2 carts crashing into each other, and the rest coming to a sudden and violent halt. The impact was brutal, but somewhat surprisingly, the footage continued. Showing just enough to reveal that the ropeway and the cabin these people were in were both still intact, before the recording came to an end. This group had survived the impact, but the nightmare was far from over. News of the collision quickly spread throughout the region, leading to the scene being flooded with rescuers and news crews alike, with everyone trying to figure out what exactly was happening, and the initial prognosis was grim. In the impact, 1 man in a separate car had been killed, and many others were left injured. And making matters worse, due to the broken axle, the ropeway was now no longer operational, meaning that the 70+ people spread throughout the various cars were now stuck, some of whom were still suspended over 1,000 feet in the air. It was going to be an incredibly difficult rescue operation, just given the height of the ropeway alone. And ultimately, it was determined that the Indian Air Force would utilize their special top-of-the-line helicopters to fly over the cars and lower down ropes with harnesses attached to them for survivors, who then would strap themselves in and be hoisted up to the helicopter above using an electronic winch. It took hours for them to even make their first attempt, before finally trying their approach on a middle-aged man, who slid on his rescue strap and was then slowly pulled up towards safety.
Damn.
The footage of this is horrifying. These people were already over 1,000 feet in the air when their cars got
This
stuck.
reminded me of that movie with
even higher,
the people on the
tethered
ski
only by a
lifts and they got
single rope and a
stuck like
safety
overnight, I
harness.
think.
Worst of all, it was a particularly windy day, which was made worse by the swirling of the helicopter blades, a combination that caused the man to start swinging wildly from side to side as he hung onto the rope for dear life.
Oh.
It was a grueling journey up, but finally the man reached the aircraft, and with safety just a few feet away, he instinctively reached his arms above his head in an attempt to grab onto the helicopter, a decision that would have disastrous effects.
No.
As he did so, his harness slid upwards and was pulled over his shoulders, and then over his arms, before eventually landing in his hands, meaning the only thing left holding him up
was him.
his own grip, as he clung to the now useless harness. For a full minute, he dangled there, just inches away from rescue. Meanwhile, the rescue crew searched the craft for something they could use to safely hoist him in, but before they got the chance, the man slipped out of his harness, momentarily catching himself on the side of the helicopter itself. But by this point, his strength was gone.
Why didn't they just pull him
his grip
up?
would fail for good. Causing him to plummet approximately 2,000 feet to the ground below, killing him instantly.
R.I.P. man.
For those waiting to be rescued, the sight was especially horrific, as they watched the man who they thought had made it to safety fall to the ground right in front of them. The fear they must have felt knowing that soon it would be their turn is unimaginable. After this, the rescue crews began making tweaks to their operation, which started to lead to a few attempts going off without a hitch. But the entire process
I'm gonna keep it a
was
bug. If that was me,
slow,
I'm not
as a
going
full
first
24
just
hours
off the
would
simple
pass
fact
before
of
60-year-old
knowing
Sheila
that,
Davy
or just
would finally get her chance to be
thinking that.
removed from the car. And as she started her
I'm
ascent
not
up
gonna
to
be the
helicopter,
experiment. Somebody else
the
go
wind
first.
also caused her to start swinging wildly. So wildly, in fact, that the winch used to lift her suddenly stopped working, leaving her hanging there, only moving side to side rather than up towards safety. As she hung there, rescuers on the helicopter frantically tried to figure out what the problem with the winch was.
Dude, these
but
niggas
before
know
they
what
could
they're
ever
doing.
get their answer, the rope suddenly snapped,
Oh
causing
my
her to free
gosh.
fall to the ground below.
Come on,
It came
bro.
without any sort of warning, and from what I can find online, there isn't a definitive answer as to how this happened.
Damn, bro, that's
But either
tragic.
way,
I'm sorry,
it
bro.
resulted
That's
in
sad. I
Sheila's
ain't gonna
tragic
lie.
death. It took a total of 48 hours for the last of the survivors to be rescued and finally brought to safety, an unimaginable amount of time in an unimaginable position, with survivors having
To be
to
honest,
watch
if there's
two
10 people,
fall
I'm
to their
going
deaths
like
before them,
6th
unsure
to
if they
5th. I'm
too
not
were
going
to
1st,
meet the
2nd,
same
3rd, nor
fate.
4th. Like, that's too high of a risk.
Since its release, the footage has sparked some debate online, as the media actually hailed this as an impressive and even successful rescue operation for the Indian Air Force, while others have hit back on this, as both incidents seem to have been entirely preventable, with more people dying from the rescue than the accident itself. Though ultimately there were no repercussions for the rescue crew, with the only punishments being dished out to the operating company DRIL, which was accused of not properly maintaining the ropeway and not following proper safety protocols. It was even alleged that when the initial crash happened, the people operating the ropeway at the time actually fled the scene and never even called authorities. But I'm not sure if this was ever actually proven. DRIL was fined over $1 million and has since been blacklisted from operating ropeways for 5 years, while the families of the deceased were given around $33,000 in compensation. Currently, there are plans to repair and reopen
Is
the
that even
ropeway,
enough?
though at this point, no official date has been given for the reopening.
Yeah, I don't think they should reopen that no time soon. Yo, W video. Shout out to Nick Crowley.